Hi, I'm Robert, the tutorial maker, and this is my overview tutorial for LibreOffice version 5 and above. LibreOffice is the name for a software program that has a bunch of smaller tools for creating different kinds of documents. You can use the word processor, the spreadsheet maker, or some other program, and they all interact with each other, while at the same time being compatible with most old documents you have, such as Microsoft Word files. Now, when it comes to this kind of software, there are a lot of things called tools. So I'm going to call these individual parts of LibreOffice subprograms instead of tools. Think of each of these subprograms as a state in America. They have a lot of overall similarities when you're comparing them to other countries or programs. But each one has things that make it distinct and different in the details of its appearance and function and what it can create. These subprograms can also be used together to create an end product that one of them alone could not. The tips and techniques I'm going to show in this particular video are like your passport or guide map to LibreOffice. You're going to be able to get into the program and you'll be able to find your way around. Of course, if at any point you need more help with any of the subprograms or with LibreOffice in general, have a look through my other LibreOffice tutorials or go to help.libreoffice.org. Firstly, open LibreOffice. You'll be presented with a set of options which includes creating a new document in each of the subprograms or opening a document file from somewhere on your computer. Let's use LibreOffice Writer. This is your basic word processing subprogram. So I'll just type a little text on the page in the central window. This large central window is your main work area. If your work is larger than this window, you will be able to scroll to other sections to view them. The menu bar is a series of drop-down menus, starting with File and going through to the Help menu. Keep in mind that some of the contents inside the drop-down menus can be different depending on which subprogram you are using at the time. However, Help is always exactly the same. If you're confused on how to do something, you can always try Help. The best function of this, in my opinion, is to select What's This, and then to hover over the different buttons and icons around different parts of the program. This gives a fuller explanation of what each button does, which can help you a lot when you're starting out. Once you click somewhere, the What's This function turns off, so you can immediately get back to the thing you were working on. Just off the top of the main window is the standard toolbar. These buttons give you access to some of the most common functions across all the document types, so you have things like open, save, print, cut copy, and so on. The standard toolbar is basically a way of getting easy access to the functions you are going to be using most frequently. So clicking open here is the exact same as clicking open in the file drop-down menu. As an example, I could click where I want a table to appear and then go into the table menu and select Insert Table. I'll then enter the parameters of the table I want and then click Insert. The table will appear where I had previously selected on the page in the main window. Instead of all this, I could just click a free space and then click on the Table button in the standard toolbar, which will give me a great tool for inserting almost any table size I want. I can even go into more options if I want the full range of options for creating tables. This easy functionality is the same for the other toolbars, like the formatting toolbar just below the standard one. In fact, the toolbars demonstrate two important concepts in LibreOffice: context and customization. Let's start with context. Contextual functions sound complex, but all they are options that are tailored to what is currently selected. This makes it easier to find options related to what you are currently working on. This is really handy, especially for beginning users. So, for instance, every time you right-click, a contextual menu appears. If you right-click in the text, you're given different options than right-clicking on a table. Similarly, if I right-click in the text, that's different from selecting an area of text and highlighting it and then right-clicking on that. because you can cut or copy that highlighted text, whereas before there was no highlighted or selected text to cut or copy, so the option never appeared. Of course, you can always paste. In LibreOffice, contextual toolbars help reduce the amount of unneeded clutter in your workspace. When you're working on text, the standard and formatting toolbars appear. If I get out of shape and I work on that, the formatting toolbar disappears since no text is present, and the Drawing Object Properties toolbar appears in its place. On the other hand, when working on a table, the formatting toolbar returns because you can have text in a table, and then the table toolbar appears for table-specific options. Now, I'm not a fan of where this table toolbar is, and that leads us out of context and onto the second great strength of LibreOffice, customization. Customization allows you to personalize LibreOffice for the experience you prefer, which makes it a great program for inexperienced and tech-savvy users alike. So starting off, I'm going to hold left-click and grab this toolbar. I can drag it around my workspace to a place that is out of the way. I can even attach it to any edge on the workspace. Whenever a long, transparent rectangle appears behind the toolbar, you know you can attach it. If I go away from working on tables and return later, the table toolbar will be in the last place I left it. But how do I remove a toolbar from one of these edges? When you see a vertical line of grey dots at the beginning of a toolbar, you can left-click those dots and drag the toolbar around, just like before. I'm going to keep my table toolbar there. Of course, these toolbars, as you can see them now, aren't showing every possible button that is available through the toolbars. This would lead to unbelievable clutter. So how do you see more? Well, if you bring in one of the sides of your workspace, double arrows will appear to the right of your toolbars up here. This indicates that there are more buttons available, but that there's no space to display them. If you left-click on that double arrow, a drop-down list of additional buttons will appear. You can left-click on any one of these, and it will have the same effect as if the button was appearing in the toolbar itself. Now you'll notice that partway down there's a line. All the buttons above this line are parts of the toolbar that would normally appear if there was space in the window. All the buttons below this line are buttons that could be attached to this toolbar, but aren't part of the toolbar right now, even if you expand it. So some of you might remember that the option that I really like in the Help menu, What's This, is nowhere to be found on the standard toolbar. So let's rectify that. I'm going to go to the Tools menu and click Customize. You'll see a lot of options here, and they're really good, but it's a bit confusing at first. So we're just going to go straight to the Toolbar section. Make sure that the standard toolbar is selected in this drop-down menu, then scroll down to the bottom. As you scroll, you'll see that the active buttons have an active blue checkbox, while the inactive buttons have an empty box. At the very bottom, click the empty box next to What's This. If you want to have a look around at what the other button options do, even checking the other toolbars, go right ahead. Click OK to keep your selection and return to the main work area. As long as your standard toolbar is fully visible, you can now select the What's This button quickly and easily. Again, I highly recommend this button for when you're getting used to the program. At this point, you have a few different ways of navigating the tools available to you in any of the LibreOffice subprograms. And you can even customize them to suit your personal needs, and you know how the contextual functions work. Remember, LibreOffice is entirely free to use, but if you do have questions about the program or want to donate to the Document Foundation, visit LibreOffice.org. And if you need a tutorial made, you can email me at robert.b.alexander@gmail.com.